I love to watch everybody just talk. I know. You like to talk too, Sarah. What? Welcome to the October 25th, 2024 Friday meeting of the Brentwood Rotary Club of Brentwood. I'm Stephen Hammers, your president this year. I'm very excited. Oh, I love smiles. It's being recorded. We will have the invocation by Bob Thompson, the pledge and four-way test by my bow tie friend, Chuck Blackburn. Bob, there you go.
Dear Lord, we gather here in fellowship, grateful for the opportunity to serve our community and to work towards a better world. Thank you for the food before us, for the hands that prepared it, and for the nourishment it will provide. We also lift up those affected by the recent hurricanes, grant them strength, comfort, and the support they need to rebuild. Guide us in our effort to offer help where we can, and remind us always of our duty to serve others. Bless our gathering today, and may our actions reflect the spirit of Rotary's mission of service above self. Amen.
Hey, this is important for everything, especially as we get close to elections. This is the four-way test that we think, say, or do. First,
True.
second,
Fair walk, concern.
third,
Build goodwill and better friendships.
and fourth.
Beneficial all concerned. Don't forget the flag. Usually we do the pledge first, Chuck, in case you haven't
Face
been
the
there.
flag.
It's only been 40 years, right? Since we've
Yeah,
done it.
that's right. That's right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Chuck, we'll pray for you. All right. The introduction by guests and visiting Rotarians. Jennifer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Halloween. Hope everybody's going to have a fun one. We have two guests today. Buddy, there's Buddy. I feel like I want to keep introducing him, but gosh, he's a part of us now, right? Yes. Thank you for bringing him to us here. Yes. And then we have a guest that he's in the pipeline. I just can't get a date out of him.
I'm Rob Eichert. It's great to be with you guys again. Thank you.
Hey, Rob.
I encourage everyone to introduce themselves to Rob. He is hopefully going to be all the way through the system in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Thank you, Jennifer. Time for Happy Bucks. Jane, make us happy.
Who is happy today? I'll start with a disclaimer. I just entered the world of bifocals, so they're better than the last time I tried to do this, so I don't think I'll trip, but just throwing that out there. Oh, Sarah's happy. Yay.
Okay, everybody. So I'm happy about one thing in particular. Tomorrow, my sister is taking my 13-year-old nephew to Africa. They are going on a medical mission trip to Liberia. So that's where you're getting my happy that he's getting to go and experience all the things that other countries do. I also asked for my prayer warriors in this group to pray for them because they will be gone for 2 weeks. So hey.
Awesome. Who else is happy? Anybody? Ray, Alan, are you happy? Happy with any bucks or no bucks?
Well, I gave 5 last week, so yeah, I'll pay for it next week. I know I should leave this alone, but roll tide.
Ray is happy.
I just tweeted, and it's just for today, so buckle up, buttercups. The first is a happy. I'm very happy that my lifelong friend, Jared Tanksley, was able to use my tickets Tuesday night. I'd gone 14 games and couldn't accomplish it. He brought us to victory. And not only that, it was a shutout. So I'm going to get a shout out to Jared for the shutout. So next two are informative. And one, I'm going to give another disclaimer. Views reflected in what I'm about to say are Ray Little's alone. They do not reflect Rotary or any Rotarians. And I've rarely done this in my almost 16 years as a commissioner. There's getting ready to be a very horrible mistake made Monday night that's going to send us down a slippery slope. And is why most governing entities are deeply in debt. And it's spending $1 million to plan and design a facility that is wonderful for those who want to play, but it's not what Brentwood does. I know many of you have been here a long time. Many of you are new residents to Brentwood. Some of you aren't Brentwood residents, so forgive me for you having to listen to this. I'm not saying I love Brentwood any more than y'all, but I have a different love for Brentwood. My family settled this city long before it was a city. I was in first grade when Brentwood became an official city. They helped establish the place. They established churches. They've served the communities through many different endeavors and businesses. They fought, bled, and died both for the city of Brentwood, the state of Tennessee, and the United States of America. And one thing I was taught as a young age was about fiscal responsibility. So as I became a commissioner, that is something that is very important, because the only way you maintain, either as a family, a business, or a governing entity, your independence is by remaining strong. And how you remain strong is by being financially strong. So my fears are we're getting ready to go down a real slippery slope. But I have the hope that through many recent words of opposition, that someone's heart will change, because if it doesn't, there will be 4 votes for this doggle on Monday. Now, my family for years has stood in the breach, both in the community and in battle and in business and in disaster and in crisis. And my hope and desire is to be able to stand into that breach Monday night. My request of you is that any of you who have the eloquence or not the eloquence, courage to stand up and speak at that meeting and say, we need to stop and put woe on this. I hope you do. Now, it's not political. This process since May of last year has broke every one of those 4 laws up there that you're looking at. So my hope is you will help me and stand in the breach. And the third thing is, I hope you all will go vote. I'm not on a ticket, so I'm not, this isn't a selfish request. But I'm sure 100% of you will go vote. But if you don't, I want you to go to the nearest military cemetery and explain to those who gave their all for you why you couldn't find the time to vote.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. Tom and then Chuck.
So I just wanted to expound a little bit on what Ray said. He didn't explain it to you, I don't think. Some of you probably may not know what he's talking about. There are 4 commissioners who are about to expend upwards of $20 million of your Brentwood tax dollars to build tennis courts for 800 tennis players that live in Brentwood. So let that sink in. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town, or I'd be in there on fire, but I'll try another time to get them. But if you're a citizen of Brentwood, if you live within the city of Brentwood, you pay taxes, that's your tax dollars going to pay for, some people to swat a tennis ball around. And by the way, two things. One, there's lots of tennis facilities around Brentwood. There's places they can play. Second of all, we were offered a deal by the county 2 years ago for $5 million. They would have built the facility for us. They would have staffed it. They would have run it. And those 4 commissioners said, nah, we want to have our own private club where only Brentwood people can go. And that's what you're going to get. So if you care about your tax dollars and your property tax, I suggest you show up there. Mark Gorman, Ken Travis, Allison Spears, and Susanna McMillan. They vote as a block together. That's who it is.
Chuck.
I say, I'm not running for anything, but I want you to get out and vote. And I want to tell you that I want you to vote immediately, because I think that's going to make the difference for us. I led by example. I was there before 7 o'clock the first day of early voting, and I was the first one to vote in Brentwood this year.
Anybody else? Got lots of happiness. Right, sure.
As many of you know, my son Matt is living in New York and an aspiring screenwriter. And I'm very happy to report this week that he's been working all sorts of odd jobs to make ends meet. As we know, New York is rather expensive. But he's finally found full-time employment in his chosen profession. He's doing video editing and making ends meet as he continues to work on his screenwriting. So I'm very happy he's been working hard to find full-time work in his field, and he found.
Not sure what's going on in the city other than what I hear through my son, but I agree with Ray, and Tom that we have to really look at this carefully, because we had an arrangement, like Tom was saying, with Franklin, to do this on a very, very beneficial basis to everyone. And the 4 people that are for this, for some reason, want to do it all on our tax bill. And I can't agree with that, and I hope the rest of us can't either.
Anybody else? Jennifer?
Everybody like Jennifer's jacket?
Very festive.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna get us back to some Rotary business, and I'll be quick because now we're probably a little stretched for time. So on Tuesday or Wednesday, one day this week anyways, we set up on Pinky Donut Day, Purple Pinkies. We set up a table at the YMCA. Thank you, Laura Troop. She did the whole thing. 5 of us showed up. Jordan was there. Who else is here that was there? I think yeah, Bob was there. Anyway, so we, due to all of your generosity, I think we had about 15 or 20 dozen to give away that day. And we were giving away and talking about Rotary and talking about the Purple Pinky. And it was really, if we did that 10 times around Brentwood at random places, we would really get our name out there, because it was really about recognition. It was amazing, the people that stopped to us and stopped to talk to us and wanted to know about Rotary. And we told them the Purple Pinky story, and it was really amazing. So I encourage, if anybody's doing anything where we could set up, let's do that. And secondly, Laura had her surgery shoulder this morning and is doing well and is at home resting.
Awesome. Anybody else?
All right. A couple announcements if you throw that up here. I'm only going to mention the 2 upcoming. November 8th is our mid-year district conference in Cool Springs Marriott. Please try to attend if you can. If you want any more information about it, please come see me. And November 16th is the Owls Hill Nature Sanctuary. Bank Sickman could probably use some help. Please contact him. That's a really good community project, and that's what we're all about. So we'll mention the others later, but keep in mind, we do have our holiday party coming up December 5th. Make sure that's on your calendar. And the Waverly Food Distribution, Hunter can help you out with that. So, Scott, will you come up? We're going to induct Scott Robinson,
Hey friends, I
but
am so sorry
Laura
not to
is
be
going to
today,
do a
but
video
I
to
had
introduce him.
shoulder surgery. So I am not in the room. Sorry not to be with you today, but I'm having shoulder surgery. So I am not in the room, but I did not want to miss a chance to introduce you to our newest member. In my unique role in working with our website, I have the honor of seeing all sorts of amazing people who approach our club, want to learn more about engaging in our community. And so this is just a really cool byproduct. And I get to meet all these new people. Scott Robinson is my new friend, and I hope you get the chance to make him feel welcome and introduce yourself to him today and help him get engaged in cool things that our club is doing. Scott and his family join us from California, like so many of our newer members, but are really excited to be in this area. Scott works with Oakworth Capital in their office in Maryland Farms, and he is a wealth advisor. So he's passionate about helping people steward the gifts and talents that they've been given, and doing big kingdom work and making good use of that and growing what they have been entrusted with. I have not gotten the chance to meet them, but his wife Elena and his son Charlie are the biggest part of his story. So I hope we all get the chance to meet them soon. But Scott has gone on and on about how much he loves them and how they're a big part of his heart and the reason that he wants to get involved in service in this place. So help him feel welcome, help him get engaged, and help him look for ways that that he can grow his gifts and talents here too. Make sure he knows why you're a part of this club and what makes your heart beat in this club. But without further ado, our newest member, Scott Robinson.
Scott, why don't you give a minute, tell them why you joined Rotary?
Well, thank you again so much for this opportunity to chat with you today. It's kind of an interesting story, like Laura said. I've actually known about Rotary for quite a while through my wife's best friend's husband. He's a former president and has won some awards with the Rotary Club, and I had a ability to attend a somewhat informal meeting of the club out there in Southern California, and I wasn't in a place in my life where I could really take the opportunity to give back to my community. I was really focused on getting my family established and making sure that we were on good footing. Because again, the reason why all the Californians are showing up is because it's real tough to make it out there. And I felt like there was a better place for my family and my heart. And that's what led us out here to Tennessee. So, with that move and kind of the meaning for getting here, of being able to give back more to the community now that I got my family established, I was actually looking on the website for places to volunteer. I've done the Mount Juliet golf tournament up there for their Chamber of Commerce. I've gone and participated in a couple of, opportunities for junior achievers and teaching them about financial responsibility to eighth graders. And so I saw the golf tournament was coming up for y'all, and I reached out. Larry and I had a chance to chat a little bit, and he mentioned, well, we really only look to members for the opportunity to be out on a beautiful golf course for 4 hours. And I thought, well, shoot, I want to be able to do that with my time. And so he said, it would be a good idea for you to chat with Laura. And she was gracious enough to spend about an hour with me, grab a cup of coffee. And it really spoke to me on a deep level. With my background in financial and banking, I never, believe me, of all my friends, the last person who was going to end up in finance was going to be me. But I really enjoy seeing people succeed and helping them through life. And it's afforded me an opportunity now to have a job where I can commit to a regular lunch meeting. I think I missed one or two in the last 3 months. So I'm happy to be able to commit to a Friday lunch every week. In my previous employment, I wasn't able to do that. And so it's really been inspirational to meet all of you, from business owners, banking people like myself. And so I just really am looking forward to being a part of this group. On a little more personal level, some things about me, if you want to pull me aside and pick my brain, we have some new friends joining us, In-N-Out Burger. They're a new fast food place that'll be showing up here and starting in Franklin with their headquarters. They'll be going to Lebanon by where I live. They'll be going Madison, Smyrna. And you'll start seeing them all over. They're going to be really great neighbors. I was with them for 15 years, spent about half that time as a manager. And, for an organization that I think really aligns with the values of what Rotary is all about, it speaks about really focusing on who you're there to serve, which is your community, whether that's through feeding them wholesome meals that you feel proud to serve, being friendly and welcoming to travelers. So again, it tends to be a really great positive experience for most people. And if you have young ones that are looking for a first job, I would really recommend directing them towards In-N-Out Burger once they get up and running here. The other one that's a lot of fun to talk about was my second career was I sold wine and spirits. So I don't know if we have too many, wine drinkers in the room. I was happy to have my first meeting with the couple who's got their own vineyard down there in Argentina, I think it was. And so it's something that, at a party, a lot of people like to hear stories about, where liquor comes from, the process, and some of their favorite brands. So those are kind of my passions from work. And then personally, again, I love golf, love spending time with my family, my wife, Elena, and Charlie. He'll be 5 this Christmas, and he's super excited to be an astronaut for Halloween this year. 2 years ago, it was raining and he couldn't do any real trick-or-treating. Last year, it dropped down so cold, his fingertips were blue. And so this year we're excited. We got them all up in the spacesuit. So hopefully no matter what the weather is, he'll get to go out and get some candy. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity to join. I'm really looking forward to serving alongside you. And thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, please go up to Scott and welcome him. Jordan is going to introduce our guest speaker today.
Hello all, happy Friday again. I have the pleasure of introducing a dear friend of mine this Friday, Miss Cheryl Blanchard, who is a licensed social worker, a certified dementia care specialist, and a certified case manager. She has worked with seniors throughout Tennessee for several years in a variety of roles and has focused most of her training on caring for those with Alzheimer's disease and their families. Cheryl has been writing and speaking about Alzheimer's disease for over 10 years and joined Alzheimer's Tennessee as the regional director for the Middle Tennessee area in 2021 and has made a huge impact since, which has created a friendship here and is why she's here to speak with you today. She has so much knowledge to share and love for this community. So without further ado, Miss Cheryl Blanchard.
Wow. Well, thank you for having me again. This is not my first time with you all, so some of your faces look familiar. But today is going to be a little bit different presentation because today I get to tell you how you just made a huge difference in the community for people with Alzheimer's disease. I talk fast anyway, and now that I'm on a time limit, you better keep up. I'm from Georgia, but I can go. All right. So why do we discuss wandering? Wandering is a huge issue. When I work with families and when Jordan works with families, people say, well, Dad has never wandered. Dad won't do that. And I just kind of whisper, yet. Because 6 out of 10 will. Okay. So anytime a family with dementia says my loved one wouldn't do that, they're not going to do that, we're not worried about that, I really have to bring them around and show them that 6 out of 10 people will wonder if they have a diagnosis of dementia. And there are a lot of reasons for that. I put some of the most common ones up here, but the biggest one is they just get disoriented. So one of the things early on with Alzheimer's disease in particular is they can't problem solve and they can't retrace their steps. So yesterday I had to go from Franklin to White House at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't recommend it. It was horrible, but I didn't know where I was going. And somebody said, well, why didn't you go this way or go that way? I said, because all I have is what GPS is telling me. I couldn't redirect. I couldn't problem solve because I didn't know it. Well, that's them every day. They can't retrace their steps. They can't figure out alternate routes. If there is road construction, they don't know how to problem solve around that. So especially when they're driving, that becomes a big issue. The other thing is that they're trying to get to an old place. So imagine if you leave here and you're driving home to where you live in Brentwood now, but it doesn't look familiar. Nothing looks the same because in your mind, you're remembering the house you grew up in. For me, that would be in Macon, Georgia. I'm imagining Nesbitt Drive in my head in Macon, Georgia. So I'm going home, nothing looks familiar, and I keep looking for something that I'm going to identify. If you've ever lived in a hurricane-prone area or tornado-prone area, you kind of know what that feels like because we drive. I know we know the street names, but really, to turn by the Walmart, go down to the McDonald's, take a left. We go by landmarks more. The landmarks aren't familiar, so they can't figure out where they are. The other thing that's really dangerous about wondering is they don't recognize the passage of time. So what I hear all the time is a family member says, well, we just went, we went in Kroger and I said, Mom, wait in the car. I'm going to go grab milk and bread. I'll be right back. Well, to daughter, that might be a 10-minute thing. To the person with Alzheimer's disease who no longer has an understanding of the passage of time, they're sitting there and you have been gone forever. Well, what do you do when somebody is missing, when they've been gone forever? You get out of the car and you go looking for them, right? Same thing in the home. They say, well, all I did was I just ran to the pharmacy to pick up medicine. I was gone 15 minutes. But again, to that person with Alzheimer's, it feels like an eternity. They don't remember because of short-term memory loss that you said, I'm just going to Walgreens. I'll be right back. So they get out and they come looking for you. And loved ones have told me they found them walking down the street. I've had 3 in the past month. 2 was the same person, but 3 in the past month that called me and said, I can't believe it. He's never done this before. 3 o'clock in the morning, he walked out and was walking down the street. Or the other day, the neighbors called me. My mom was walking down the road and I didn't even know she'd gotten out of the house. It can happen that fast. All right. So those are just some of the main reasons why they roam. The other one is because they forget where they were going, but that urgency to go is still there. They know they were going somewhere. They don't quite remember where they were going. And we connect to 8 other states, 7 or 8 other states. I'm not from here. I'm a Georgia girl. Where's that Bama fan? Even worse than Tennessee, right? I'm a Georgia girl. But anyway, they forget where they were going, but they remember that feeling that they were going. So they keep going. And they often go until they run out of gas. And then some nice person will help them get gas. And instead of knowing to turn around and come back home, they keep going in the wrong direction. So we find people in other states all the time. Regularly, and I'll show you some numbers in just a minute. These are some of the things. So when we work with families, we talk about wandering prevention. We talk about some of the reasons why their loved one might wander. And then we'll actually just look at their home with them, a very hands-on approach, and talk about, what doors are they going out of? Do you have Wi-Fi cameras? Do you have a Ring doorbell? Something as simple as a doorbell that'll ping your phone and let you know, Mom opened the door and walked out and she's not supposed to be going anywhere. It's a game changer for these families. Things that we all use and take for granted every day, right? Life 360 on your phone. I would like to tell you that my children can't go anywhere without me knowing exactly where they are, but it's the reverse. I can't go anywhere without my children. Last night, my 21-year-old college student, when I was in White House, called me and said, where in the world are you? Because she looked at the location and saw I was far, far away. Door chimes on bells. Just if you step away to go do a load of laundry, your loved one can get out the door and be halfway down the road before you even realize it. Just a door chime that pings when they open that door. Game changer for some of these families. So we go through a home safety thing and help them. And then we talk about don't leave them home alone or in the car alone because of that, not understanding the passage of time. They get out and come looking for you and get turned around. So we go through a lot of that with folks. And we also have a great safety catalog. So is anybody currently caring for, involved with a family with Alzheimer's disease? Anybody currently have a family member? A couple of you? Okay. So this safety catalog is online. You can print that out. We actually research these products. We didn't just Google them and go, oh, this looks good. We know folks that have used them. And if there's a doorbell in there, if there's a security feature, I just told you Life 360, my children know where I'm at 24 hours a day, not the other way around. But that is a great little catalog, has a lot of ideas. And we thought about things or know about things that you might not even think about. For example, if you disguise a door as with long curtains, it looks like a window. Most of us don't go out of a window to leave the house, at least not since we were 16, right? We don't do that anymore. So if it looks like a window, it's going to be a little bit less likely because what will happen is I might not even be thinking about going anywhere, but I see that door and I know that a door is for going out and suddenly I'm out that door. And that's all it takes is a trigger, seeing something. So things like disguising doors, a simple way to help. Black doormats can look like a hole because of depth perception issues, So if you put a black doormat in front of a door, they're going to get to it and they're going to stop because when they look down, they see a hole. instead of something that's just something they're going to step onto. So lots of things like that are in this catalog. We help families that way as well. So the Silver Alert Law took effect back in July of 2021. And we worked really hard on that during the COVID year. The Silver Alert Law was passed. And what that did, it wasn't that there was not already a missing persons profile. There was. If somebody went missing, you called and they would go looking. But what we did was kind of unified that process, because Williamson County might do it one way. Rutherford, where I live, might do it another way. The city of Nashville might do it another way. So we kind of put together a unified process, got with the TBI. And so now local law enforcement is who's going to show up if you call and say, hey, my mom's missing and we can't find her. And within a 4-hour period of coming out, they're going to report information to the TBI so that TBI can get that listed as a silver alert. Y'all see the silver alerts that come out on social media? Please pay attention to those, because I'm going to tell you about the success rate of this program in just a minute. But the TBI works with local law enforcement. And you see it says there are 4 hours. They search the local vicinity. Local law enforcement is not waiting 4 hours. As soon as they get out there and get the information, the report, they're letting TBI know, because the sooner we can get that silver alert issued, the sooner the community can be on the lookout and help locate that person. So that's kind of how that goes. Now, they do always like for me to tell you that there is no 24-hour waiting period. If you watch crime shows and somebody, oh, my daughter's missing, well, you have to wait 24 hours. You do not. To report a loved one missing, you do not have to wait. They don't want you to wait, because it's very dangerous for someone with Alzheimer's disease to be missing, especially as we go into the winter months. So no waiting period. Go ahead and call immediately. And then what we found out, though, is when the Silver Alert Law got passed, local law enforcement were telling us, hey, this is great. We're going out to the homes. But when we get there, families don't have the information that we need to issue this alert. So if you had a missing person that you needed to call, if you need to call right now and say a loved one is missing, what do you think the number one thing is that law enforcement is going to need? A current photograph. Guess what the number one thing is that families didn't have when they showed up? A current photograph. They want it within 6 months. So when this first came out, they're trying to issue these alerts. There's no current photograph. They're having to pull old driver's license pictures. And I remember this really nasty thing. And you know that neighborhood app you can get, and everybody is so kind and so friendly, and right? Oh, isn't that great? Yeah. So there was a person missing in they're awful, aren't they? Like in Murfreesboro, and they didn't have a current photo. So they issued it and they had to use a driver's license photo. And everybody was pitching a fit, being so ugly, saying, well, the description says be on the lookout for somebody with gray hair. And this picture you've got, he has brown hair and a brown mustache. Well, yeah, because it was an old driver's license photo, because the family didn't have a photo. So we put together this Silver Alert Kit, and what this is, it's free to families. We give this to families so that they can be prepared. So in the event that their loved one wanders, and remember 6 out of 10 will, when law enforcement shows up, that family has what they need. They've got the current photo. Guess what the second thing is that most families don't have? I'll give you a hint. If somebody drives away instead of walking away, guess what they don't have? And where is that information located? In the car, right? So they're digging around. They're calling insurance companies. They're trying to get that year, make, and model of the car. That's important information. We have license plate readers. Important to know that tag number, because you report that, it's going to make finding that person a lot easier. So all of that information is in there. We give these to families absolutely free. These are a couple of the pages that are in there. I actually have some with me. If anybody here knows a family or is a family caring for someone with a diagnosis, I brought some that I'd be happy to send out with you today. These are some statistics. So as of October 22nd, in 2024, we've issued 101 have been located safely and returned home, and 20 were located out of state. 20, because like I said, they get on those roads, keep going, and they end up in other states. Overall, we've had 397 since 2021. 367 have been located safely. And what is that? 65 out of state. So if you crunch those numbers, it comes out to about a 93. It varies a little, 93, 94% success rate. And we're pretty excited about that. That's really helping bring people safely home. If somebody is never located, because even if they're located as deceased, they're listed as deceased. If they're never, ever located, that alert stays active. So I've had some in the Nashville area ever since it started, and that is still an active alert because it's not resolved. All right. So last year, some of you may remember, I was the recipient, or Alzheimer's Tennessee was a recipient of a major grant. And now I'm going to share with you how you are saving lives in Middle Tennessee, because this grant was amazing. So there we all are. Last year, I was really excited. And this is what I did. So when I applied for this grant, they're like, wow, think big, think big. And I said, I know this sounds crazy,
but if I could just have a decent printer. I run 16 counties for Middle Tennessee right here, and I was using a home printer to do it. So I was constantly at Staples and spending a ridiculous amount of money. And I'm a really good steward of our money because you guys are the ones who donate. So I said, boy, if I could just have a printer. And there's my beautiful, beautiful copier and printer that I used that grant for. It is truly a job changer. It's a game changer. And then we ordered all the supplies to put together Silver Alert kits. So you guys, through that grant, gave me the ability to come up and we create 1,000 Silver Alert kits to be distributed in this community. 1,000. That's 1,000 families that can be prepared if their loved one wonders. Excited about that. Y'all don't seem as excited as I'm excited. That is what my office looked like over the past 2 or 3 months, because since I had a printer, I no longer had to run to Staples. I printed 10,000 packets of information. They're about 10 pages each. I printed a nice little note that went with it that said, this kit is made possible for you due to a generous grant from the Brentwood Rotary Club. So you guys are all getting recognition. Actually, your logo, if you want to show one of those pouches right there, your logo is featured prominently on the front of that. So anybody who gets one of these kits knows that Brentwood Rotary made it possible. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But I had the printer, I had the materials, I had the zippered pouches, and then I went, that's 1,000 kits that I have to put together. Guess how many people there are in the Middle Tennessee office for Alzheimer's Tennessee? Me. Yeah. So I'm like, I got to do all of that, right? So then another miracle happened. Not only did I get this generous support from you all, but I got a contact from Contessa Health. And they said, hey, we're doing this project. When we come to Nashville for our meeting and we bring everybody in, we like to do some kind of service project. Do you have anything we can do for you? I said, are you kidding me right now? I said, yes. So what they did was these Contessa Health employees, we did this just yesterday. So I was working on this till 10 o'clock last night so I could share this. And Contessa Health put together 1,000 Silver Alert kits yesterday. And then I made a list of the places that I promised you all that we would get them out to. So Chief Hickey got 100 through the Brentwood Police Department yesterday. The Williamson County Sheriff's Office, 50 Forward right here. She has an adult day program, in case you don't know that. So everybody in that adult day program gets a Silver Alert kit. Anybody coming through 50 Forward that is caring for somebody with a diagnosis now will get a Silver Alert kit. So this is just a little about our day. So they assembled at their office down in Nashville. Here they are out delivering. So they broke up into 5 teams, and these volunteers blanketed Brentwood and Williamson County yesterday with Silver Alert kits. So now you go into any of these places and they know they've got a letter explaining about the kits. If they know this person has a diagnosis and we know they could possibly wonder, hey, we would love to give you a free Silver Alert kit from Alzheimer's Tennessee and the Brentwood Rotary Club, right? So there the volunteers are. They also went the emergency room at Williamson Health. You know, if somebody does get located and found, they're going to end up at the emergency room. So spoke with the people over at Williamson Health, the Williamson County Sheriff's Department. They have them. So again, if they're talking to a family or if they're responding to a call that someone has wandered away, hey, we've got this free Silver Alert kit we want to give you. So they've got them. Mental Health America, they do a whole lot. Alzheimer's Tennessee. Now this team, I'm going to use the laser. I'm so excited. See this team right here? Team 5. Bless them. They ended up coming back to my office and bringing back any kits that weren't distributed. So I still have a good supply in my office, because any family that calls in that is caring for someone, I say, where do they live? And if they're not in a great community like Jordan's where they're safe and they're monitored, if they're living alone or living with a loved one, the first question I ask is, have you filled out your Silver Alert kit? And if not, it goes out in the mail that day. So we distributed a lot all over the county as promised, but I also have a lot in my office. So this sweet team came back to my office and I had these 2 big guys, or 3, I had 3 guys and 2 ladies. I said, how do you feel about moving this desk? So I also got my office rearranged because I didn't have room for the printer. So we had to move some furniture. So they were great. I can't say enough about these folks. They were fabulous. We also went to Sunny Day Club, which is another adult day program. So they now all have Silver Alert kits for all of their family members. The Resource Center on Aging, people call there to get information all the time. The Williamson County Enrichment Center also serves a lot of seniors, and the Franklin Police Department. So these are some of the other teams. And like I said, after they assembled them, they took a certain number. I think we gave out almost 500 Silver Alert kits out in the community. But then, like I said, I still have them available for anybody that needs one if they come through me. But we are super excited about that project. Cannot thank you guys enough for that. So there you go. Thank you very much. And just so you know, that statistic, that 94%, again, because of your generous grant, 1,000 families right here in this area are going to be prepared for that. Now, I hope they never have to use it, but I'm really excited that they can be prepared in the event they do. So again, thank you so much for your generosity. And they're up here. If anybody needs any, if you run into someone who is a caregiver and may need a Silver Alert kit, all you have to do is call me. I drop those in the mail or drop them off all the time. I know people often have a lot of questions about Alzheimer's and dementia specifically, so I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
So I have a comment and a question. The comment is my grandmother had onset dementia. She did get in the car, and we thought she was going to church, but she decided to drive to Knoxville, where she thought it's been 4 years since I graduated. Yeah. She got off of exit at a pole. Luckily, she only had bruising, but she couldn't tell the officers at the hospital like where she was or where she was from. But God just so had it that my mom put an emergency contact card in her wallet like the week before that. Wow. So I encourage putting an emergency contact card, wallet, purse, anything like that. My question is, do you have any data that shows the cases compared to maybe 50, 60 years ago, the increase in cases? And do you have any factors that are contributing to that? I've seen some studies that said that cholesterol medicine has that capability. Just wondering your thoughts on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I am not a statistics person. So looking at the math, that's not my area of expertise. The health department keeps those kind of statistics. There are two things going on there. One is we know what we're looking at now. So just like any other disease, is it this, is it not? Well, the more you learn what it is, the more you recognize it. We've seen a massive uptick in Lewy body dementia diagnoses. I don't think it's because there is more Lewy body. I think it's because more and more doctors are starting to recognize what that one is. What are the things that contribute? Absolutely. Thank you for that question. So one area of my expertise and something I'm passionate about is removing fear about this disease. So people say, my mom had it, my grandma had it, I'm just doomed. No, you're not. No, you're not. So what those statistics I do know. So only about 30% is related to age and if you have a genetic link, 30%, which means the other 70% is within our control. We call those non-modifiable risk factors and risk factors. So in modifiable risk factors. So the biggest risk factor to getting Alzheimer's or one of the other dementias is having a brain. We all want to keep those, right? Age and genetics. Those are non-modifiable. The other would be Down syndrome because they have about a 95% chance that they'll develop Alzheimer's. Other than that, everything is statin drugs. Absolutely. Are we moving? Are we social? This right now, you guys are doing something to prevent Alzheimer's disease because you're socially engaged. You're active. You're doing something. I heard people talking about different things that you're involved with. Every bit of that is good for brain health. Learning a new skill, learning learn a new language, learn a new instrument, learn a new game. I took up ballroom dancing 3 years ago because that was brand new to me. Anything that's cognitively engaging and stimulating, not smoking, drinking in moderation, getting enough sleep. And then a couple of the new things that I'll be talking about, I'm doing a presentation in December at a state conference. Two of the newest things that have come out are hearing. Hearing is not something you wait until you're whatever age we think it is, you need to get that checked. Get it checked now because we've started noticing there's a correlation, a direct correlation between untreated hearing loss and developing dementia. And the other thing that I'm really excited about is there's a lot more study coming out now about the impact of the gut microbiome on the brain. So there are a lot of people that call the gut the second brain. So anything that's going on in your gut, how you're eating, are you getting in a Bifidobacterium brevi, I think is the one, highly, highly recommended to get on the correct type of probiotic and make sure your gut health is there. Flossing your teeth twice a day. There are studies after study after study that are showing that the microbiome of the mouth, and look how close that is to the brain, that the same bacteria that cause periodontal disease, they're thinking now can be related. So tons, and I'd be happy to share some of this with you. If you want to get my card and contact me, I've got research on this because I'm passionate about taking away that fear.
First, I want to thank you
I think there's a special place in heaven for anybody that works with Alzheimer's and dementia. My mother-in-law, who I dearly love, battled it for 7 years. Everything you said is accurate. And I know you probably could have spent another 4 or 5 hours and we would just touch this. Yeah, no, they don't let us do that. But it is true. And this is not so much a question, but just someone who personally experienced it. We lost Helen in May of 21. My wife was the primary caregiver, lover and server of her mom. It's hard on the primary caregiver, and especially if that person is their child. So any of you who know anyone who battles dementia or is caring for one who battles dementia, please be that support group. We were blessed. We had a great support group, church, family, friends. It also, my mother-in-law had battled depression. Depression is another thing that is a forewarning of that. Doesn't mean if you battle clinical depression that you have a problem. This is a warning also. I had my youngest daughter who battled depression. And I would have to say, watching her grandmother, who she dearly loved, go through that had a horrible detrimental effect on my youngest. And so if that is in your family, even if you're not the primary caregiver, but you have a parent, which is a grandparent of one of your children, this is something I would ask you to really observe and watch. And so appreciate all you do. And I'm so thankful to be a Rotarian and that we were able to provide a grant to you, and just keep up the good fight. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. And I will say to that end, support groups are a big part of what we do. I do all the family counseling. So any family that calls in and is, like you said, is dealing with that difficulty, they're going to talk directly to me. And I have a background in counseling, but also we have support groups all over Middle Tennessee. We also have them virtually, and one is held at Morning Point in Brentwood. So a support group there for families to get together and share that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, got a comment and clarification. The comment is, I love your enthusiasm and the cause. I've had this, has personally affected my family in the past, and I salute you for everything you do. Clarification, I'm not an Alabama fan. We don't have any Alabama fans.
It's really bold when you said that.
I know, we have a crimson alert out for we don't know where the Alabama people went. You might say they're wandering in the college football desert.
No, I'm going to start a fight. I know I'm always scared to say I'm a bulldog.
Just real quick, I really appreciate you coming and telling us kind of what you did with the money, because so many times we give money out, we don't know where it's going, what it's being done. That's encouraging. So thank you very much for sharing that.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi there. My question, I don't know if you could elaborate, but on the medication, I know there's 2 on the market right now. And for those of us that have been involved with loved ones that have Alzheimer's, we absolutely hate the disease. It's just the worst. Anyway, could you elaborate on the 2 medications? I know they're fairly new on the market, and just what kind of impact you feel like they've done. I've known some people that have taken these, and it's not a cure, but it's if you elaborate, please.
Very little. I'm not a doctor. Not a doctor. I read the studies. I know. So you're talking about lecanemab is one of the latest ones, and then another one, and they all have names that I typically can't pronounce. Those are called disease-modifying drugs. The reason everybody was excited is because these were touted as disease-modifying drugs. So what they're supposed to do is, some of them say they can actually remove some of the plaque that have built up, and beta amyloid plaque is one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. So they say they can remove it, or they can drastically slow the progression down. So you're looking at like a 30% slowdown of progression. The medical ethics side of that is that these drugs carry a pretty significant risk of brain injury. So we're talking about brain bleeds, little mini strokes, and all that. So I don't express an opinion on those medications other than to say that is a serious discussion you need to have with your physician. because you've got to make that decision on a personal level, whether the risks outweigh the benefits. And I mean, that can be true of many, many, many drugs. But when you're looking at a brain disease drug that has the potential to cause brain damage, then it's a serious discussion. I know folks who have tried it. It's also very expensive. It's an IV both of them are IV medications. So there can be a lot of expense involved in that as well. The studies look, I mean, they're encouraging. At least it looks like they're headed in the right direction. But if I can go back to address his question again, why wait to get a disease process and find a drug that's going to cure it? Why not do the 70% now and let's just stop getting it? That would be great, wouldn't it? So that's my heart, is teaching folks how to care for themselves now, and let's just don't get it. Yes.
How about? That's great. I've been working.
I love Sunny Day. They got kids yesterday.
They function well.
They do.
And but we have to keep it always locked. But anyway, it's one thing. There's a family in 23 to my wife. Got her, but I had previously, nearly 25 years ago, my mother had it, and I did not know what in the world. I had no explanation. So I just appreciate what you're doing. It's good to be part of Sunny Day. There are 4 churches out there. Started.
Yep.
I work with one Harper Hills Church. Right?
Yeah, with Robin. Yeah. And Larry Dodson is doing a support group there. Yeah, and Larry does a support group there for just husbands. Yeah, there's just a male-only support group there. Yeah. Well, thank you for what you're doing. Sunny Day does an amazing job, and they couldn't do it without volunteers.
I hear people talking about Alzheimer's and dementia as being the same thing, but there is a difference in the two. Would you define the difference?
I would love to. It's my favorite question. You already got this one time. So dementia is not a disease, okay? So when you hear the term dementia, we call it like an umbrella term. So we can compare it back to having a cold, cold symptoms, runny nose, sore throat, scratchy throat, body aches. We go, well, okay, you've got this respiratory thing going on, but is it a cold? Is it the flu? Is it allergies? Is it COVID? What is it? Well, until 2020, we didn't care. We just said, oh, I got this respiratory thing, right? But now, then we started caring, right? So dementia just means cognitive changes, short-term memory loss, difficulty with language, difficulty with sequencing. Oh, this person has dementia. And then the next question, please don't ever stop there. If you hear somebody has dementia, the next question needs to be, oh, what kind? What is it? Because Alzheimer's disease is the the leading cause of all dementias is Alzheimer's disease. Most of them are mixed, to be honest, but Alzheimer's disease is a leading cause, and that's why you use those words interchangeably. They are not, because Alzheimer's disease causes this syndrome that we call dementia. There's also Lewy body dementia, vascular dementia, frontotemporal dementia, and about 84 different things that can cause the symptoms of dementia. But those are the 4 main disease processes that cause dementia. So Alzheimer's causes most cases of dementia, but it could be other things as well. Thank you for asking that.
Cheryl, you gave some examples. Does local politics and national politics have anything to do with negativity in the brain?
No, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, so part of my research, part of what I do when I teach brain health is, yes, stress. Stress definitely is right up there and can lead to changes in the brain. And then the bad things that we do when we are stressed, like drinking too much, smoking too much, and yeah, absolutely. So yeah, be happy. Be happy, Bugs. Be happy.
We'd like to offer you a pen to say thank you. And if you don't mind, we read this to first graders.
Mhm.
And if you can sign this in your visit today at Rotary, we'd really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Let's all give Cheryl a hand. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Everybody welcome Scott to the club and definitely get to know him. And Buddy and Rob, thank you very much for attending as a guest. For anything else for the good of Rotary, please stack the chairs and 8. Up. And what? Oh, definitely not against the wall. A little harder. See y'all. Have a great day.